30 seconds is a long time. You can do a lot in 30 seconds.
You can.
We're going to talk about a 30-second rule we just read in media and see if you agree with it or not.
Yeah,
so join us on Man Talk next. All right, Craig, I was watching this reel recently, and a teacher was telling her class, like an elementary school class, that she had this rule, and that is if somebody can change in 30 seconds something about themselves, a problem that you see, you can tell them. But if it would take longer than 30 seconds for them to fix whatever problem you think they have, don't say anything. So do you agree with that or not? You think that's true or not?
Boy, for elementary school, that's probably a really good rule.
It's pretty interesting teacher.
Probably a really good rule because they don't have abstract thinking and be able to think deeper. So for elementary school, but
So for instance, let me see here. Let's say that your collar was half up.
Yeah. Right.
That's a 30-second fix.
Right. Or your tie is undone, and somebody say, "Hey, Craig, your tie is crooked."
Right.
Not that I want to wear a tie. Yeah. So that makes sense. Or your shoes untied, or your.
Yeah, that's a 30-second fix. Yeah. Do you think we should never talk to tell people anything that would take longer than 30 seconds?
I think it depends on the subject. Because I broke that rule several times. If that's the case.
Were you happy about it?
There's times probably I realized I shouldn't have said anything, but there's other times where, especially if somebody's going down the wrong path, maybe. I've had somebody say something to me, that type of behavior is not conducive of a Christian when I was a young person, and it's something that I saw right away that, boy, there's wisdom in what he just said. Did it take me 30 seconds to fix it? No. But I'm glad that he said something.
So something happened. I saw this in the news. Just came out this last week. The starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, his name's Tua. I can't pronounce his last name, but Tua. I just call him
Cool name. Nice.
Yeah, very, very good quarterback now. When he came in the league, his coach apparently focused on all the negatives and didn't focus on the positive. And in this interview, I thought this was quite fascinating. Tua said that he called him a terrible person.
The coach called him a terrible person?
No, Tua said, my first coach, was a terrible person.
Okay.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
And so, of course, now his coach...
Because he focused on the negative.
His coach is now the defensive coordinator for the Vikings. His name is Brian Flores. They ran to him and said, Tua called you a terrible person.
Okay.
So what do you think? Have you heard the story?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think his response was? Defensive coordinator, Miami Vikings.
Yeah,
Minnesota Vikings.
I would suspect that he was somewhat defensive about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell him to grow up or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so.
But now, just like when he was the coach over him, he wasn't doing really well. They got this new coach, and I don't really follow the Dolphins. I just read the article,
right.
So I don't know how much better he got. But I think he's considered pretty good. He's just night and day. He's like, and in the article he said something to the effect of, imagine the difference between every day coming in and being criticized for everything, and then now having a coach who supports you in all that he does. So
he focused on the positive of him.
Yeah. And so he says, now, I thrive now because I have a good coach, and my old coach was a terrible person.
But it doesn't say that this coach didn't correct his issues, but he just had...
No, but he literally said
that this guy's great, this guy's bad.
He didn't just say he was a bad coach. He goes, he's a terrible person.
Yeah.
So what I thought was interesting was, now, if, let me ask before I tell you what he said, if he would have been defensive and said, he's young and a rookie and he's need to grow up and it's a business, whatever, would you take your takeaway and go, hey, maybe he is a terrible person? Like what
potentially?
What would he have had to have said for you to go, Tua, I think you're wrong there?
Yeah, he probably should have, or I don't know what he said, but that he said, well, it was taken out of context, or I don't know.
Well, here's what he said was, I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
He said, that's given me a lot to contemplate.
Wow,
and,
good for him.
man, that's sure not what I want to be. That's not why I started coaching football. And, maybe I was too hard on him, and,
Wow.
and I don't want to be that guy.
Wow, yeah.
What was intriguing about it is that when he was in his press conference, there was a teammate. Some of his players were on either side of him, and they both were like there to vouch that their coach was amazing.
The coach that was the terrible person.
The terrible person was like, man, he's had us over to his house.
Oh, yeah.
We know his family.
Yeah,
Like, that's not who he is.
Yeah, very
It
good.
was really interesting, but it's
a good response,
he
right?
owned
He
it.
owned it up, yeah.
Yeah, that's really it. It was really intriguing.
Yeah. And so I think it depends on how well you know the person as well.
Yeah, because do you think he violated the rule? By calling someone a terrible person, is that a 30-second fix? Like, should you go public with that?
I would say no. I would say no. But the way that the coach handled it was gold.
Amazing.
Was gold. Yeah. Again, the person who called me out, it was a teacher who called me out on some behavior that I was doing, and I was maybe a little cocky or whatever it might be, and he just saw that I could be better. I could be a better person.
Right.
And so he called me out. I didn't like it because it was.
Was it in public?
No, it was private.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But even then, because we're all selfish type of people, we don't like when somebody's correcting us. But when I walked away from there, I'm going, he's right. And so I'm thankful.
So it took you about 30 seconds?
It took about 30 seconds.
I don't know. I mean, like,
but to actually change it would take me a lot longer than that, because I would have to have gone to the Lord to have him help me, as opposed to be having the fruits of the flesh and developing the fruits of the Spirit. And so it's not something that I just said, well, I'm not going to be that way anymore.
Right.
I had to have the Lord help me not become that way anymore.
So here's the thing. When I heard this concept of the 30-second thing, I said, yeah, I agree with that. But then I thought, no, I think it's incomplete, because it doesn't matter whether you tell somebody they could fix it in 30 seconds or longer. Like, I don't think I prescribe to the fact that if it takes longer than 30 seconds, you shouldn't say anything. But here's my caveat. I think you can say it if you know the person. Like,
right.
if you go up to
to
a complete stranger and say, you're a terrible person.
Right.
Like, that's not necessarily a 30-second fix, and I don't think that they're going to receive it in the right mindset. So,
right.
And in the same token, a stranger who, could a 30-second fix, unless I say it in the right way, it won't be received well. Correct.
And it also has to be something that's changeable. Like, I was teased, I had a mole right here. It's still there, but the Lord has seen fit to have it fade into my face. Huh? But as a kid, I was teased from that. There was nothing I could change about that, right? And so it was pointed out that I had a mole on my face.
That's not a 30-second fix.
That's not a 30-second fix. And it was a resentful thing when people would do it. They thought I'd laugh about it, but underneath it was, wasn't something that I could fix. Right. And so I never noticed my mole until people pointed it out. Yeah. And so I see it in the mirror and I go, oh, mole face. And they started calling me mole face. So it's pretty hard as a kid. I've outgrown it.
Yeah, but it'd be painful.
Yeah, it would. So it's nothing I could fix. If I said that you had a bad, your nose is too big, well, nothing you can do about that unless you get a nose job.
Yeah. It's
and your nose is not too big.
Hey, thanks. No, but I do think that having that mindset of before I'm gonna, fix somebody. I see all the time on social media too. People think they're gonna try and fix somebody, and they just I'm like, dude.
I just saw one the other day, man. I'm thinking, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you saying? And it didn't help anybody.
It's not a 30-second fix.
No.
And worse, it was a lot of times the posts are after everything's over. You know what I mean? Like, Yeah, anybody can watch the game, and after it's over, go, I would have put this person in, or I would have thrown that pitch.
Ridiculous. He's a horrible coach.
Yeah. And that's where I see the issue is like something's already over, and then you're going to take the moral ground and rip on somebody for what they did in the game.
And then there's the temptation to come in and rip on that person who posted it.
Right.
So it's just a...
Yeah,
it's not fixable. It's not a 30-second fix.
Right. And I think you got to have, and if you're going to do it, you need to do it in the right way with honor.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? Oh, yeah, you know what? There's a text. Got somebody calling me here.
Calling you to tell the text?
In Romans 12, right? It says, love Romans 12:10, love one another with brotherly affection, outdo one another in showing honor. And so it kind of goes to our point today, that I'm going to love one another with brotherly affection. So if I can honestly say to the person that, out of love, because I know them, that maybe there's something that's correctable, or they come to me and say, hey, this, do you know that you do this? And that's honorable to me. It might hurt.
The term brotherly affection is interesting because my brother, I'll call him about anything, any topic, right? And for him. Yeah. Like, dude, you don't know this, but this is happening.
Yeah, right.
Or you said this, and this is what's, but it's not to shame. It's always to correct.
Yes. And for instance, if someone is talking and they say a lot, and all it takes is, do you realize that, that you said about 15 ahs? And they go, no.
Yeah.
And then the next time they talk,
right,
it's gone.
Yeah.
Because it's something that could be fixed anyway.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But I mean, you want to do it with honor, not on social media.
Right. I'm better than you. I don't say ahs.
In front of everybody. Yeah, like imagine if you were doing and I start yelling, like what do you do?
What do you do?
You say a lot. Just thought I'd tell you.
Yeah.
Like that's not cool.
Exactly right. So that brotherly affection, it's good.
Yeah.
And then it's with honor, which means with respect, right?
Yeah.
So that's good.
We, if you've ever had every man's, struggle / nightmare is hit your flies down and you're up there doing public speaking. I've had that a few times. Someone's texted me or showed me a note. I'm up there, talking and get this note, your flies down.
Yeah.
and they did it with honor.
Right.
But it's like,
it's legit.
Oh, great.
I had my hand in my pocket preaching and my flies down, and my wife's trying to get my attention. Finally, she stands up in the audience and she goes,
oh, no way.
So, and I just walked behind the podium and zipped it up and walked out.
Nobody else saw it.
No, they all, as soon as I walked back out, everybody's smiling because I had corrected.
Way to go, JD. Yeah. But did it with honor. That's the thing that's interesting too, is just because you do it with honor, with brotherly respect, it doesn't mean that it's not going to still sting. but just to recognize, like, hey, they did that as nice as they could.
Right, because none of us likes to be corrected.
Yeah.
But we all need to be corrected.
Yeah.
And so if we're man enough to receive it with the fruit of the Spirit, with love, joy, peace, patience, self-control, without fighting back. Oh, yeah? Well, you're whatever. If we can receive it with honor, but it's a good rule, 30 seconds.
I'm a fan of what the teacher said with the caveat that
very good.
I better know who I'm talking to if I'm going to, talk to him. So. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching. I just want to challenge you this week to have that brotherly love and concern for your friends and your family to enough to where you're going to talk to them about it. But recognize the difference between telling someone, like you're a terrible person is a little different than giving them something that they can correct, right?
Exactly.
So give that a shot this week. Thanks for watching.
Hey, this is Man Talk this week. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
We believe in three things. It's still the same three things.
Still, yeah.
What is it? What's
love
first?
God.
Love everyone.
Yep, and duct tape. It fixes
everything.
Yep. Thanks for watching.
We'll see ya.